Settle down, class. Settle down. Hello, and welcome to How to Be an Actor 101. I'll be your teacher, Charlie Wright. Many of you have commented and sent messages asking for tips, tricks, advice on how to be an actor, so I figured why not make a video about all the knowledge that I've gathered on my own journey, which if you haven't seen, here's a video to that, and what I've learned from others. Whether you're just starting out in your acting journey or in the midst of it, hopefully these can help you in some way. Let's begin. One of the easiest ways to become an actor is to go to some kind of acting school or class. 99% of the actors that have succeeded were trained at some point, whether it was in high school, a performing arts school, college theater class, private coach, an improv comedy group, or just a local acting class. They all have taken the time to develop and learn a craft or a way of performing, and most of these acting classes or schools do provide a chance to perform in front of agents, managers, producers, and just general people in the business. It can also give you the opportunity to create an acting reel, which is kind of a video resume of your acting abilities. I definitely know that had I not done acting class in high school or studied at Strasberg, I would never have become an actor. These classes, they also offer a sense of community that you wouldn't get from reading a book or watching a video. You get a chance to interact and experiment with other people who are just as passionate about acting as you are, and it's a way to practice your craft. It also helps to make the whole actor life less lonely because now you have people who you can relate to, when you don't get a job or when you finally make your big break. Now, there are 3 major methods of acting that are taught: the Meisner, the Adler, and the Strasberg. Each one has their own special techniques and practices, but I don't know, I recommend reading up on them and seeing which one you connect with the most before you hop into some random acting class. Get unionized. Now, every movie and TV show you watch is probably a unionized job. Most of the jobs I've done as an actor have been union jobs, but can you work as an actor outside of the union? Yes, and I encourage you to find all the work you can, but the union does 2 things that I think are worth the money. 1, they provide protection for payment, yourself and your image, so you don't get hurt or exploited, and there's a protection for labor, so you're not working extremely long hours or days for nothing. And 2, all the major TV and movie studios, all the big TV shows, whatever you can think of, independent movies, everything, they are all unionized. So if you're not in the union, you can't really work on these projects. So if you want to get to that point where you can be in those, you have to join. And how do I get into the union? Well, you either get a speaking role, or you get enough background, or you do a couple of commercials. There's a multitude of ways to get in the union. And yes, when you do, you have to pay, I believe it's a $3,000 fee now, but it's a one-time thing, and you then pay biannually to keep your membership in good standing. But it has come in handy, and I definitely think that it's the next step in your acting career right when you start off to get you into a point where you can start working consistently. So getting unionized is a huge step. Do background work if you can and if you want. I've known multiple people who have done background work on major projects that have gone on to join the union and even get speaking roles from it. I mean, granted, it does take longer than the route of getting one speaking role, but if you really take it seriously and do as many as you can, you'll probably get there in no time. Also, I have heard from stories from people that were on set as background and have been chosen to become speaking roles just by proximity and luck. So it happens. And when it does, you not only get a pay bump, but also might be able to get a credit and put it in your acting reel. So check websites like Backstage or Central Casting, and even the studio websites themselves sometimes to look for jobs in the background scene. And they're all over the place. They're shooting probably in a city near you somewhere. Who knows? There's always projects going on. So keep an eye out for that. It's an easy way to get in and started. Get representation. So getting acting representation is the key to climbing the acting ladder. They are the key to better jobs. The one thing I would say is that in my experience, it doesn't matter how impressive the name of the agency or agent is. What matters most is whether your representation actually cares about you and is invested in growing your career. But how to get an agent? The easiest way is through a recommendation from someone else. For example, my modeling agent and commercial agent would recommend a manager, and then my manager would recommend an agent and set up the meetings. The other way I've heard of is through acting classes. Occasionally, acting classes will hold presentations or a talent show kind of thing and invite agents and managers to scout for new talent. The teachers at acting classes will also probably have some kind of connection and could recommend you to them. Other than that, the only option left would be self-submitting to agencies if they accept that. I have called into agencies before, but I don't really recommend it if they're not expecting you. So once again, you got to have that in, and the best way probably is going to acting class. They have a lot of connections, acting school, or just knowing someone, know another actor that recommends you. I think that's the easiest way, through someone. Putting yourself on tape. Now, while you are looking for work and doing background gigs here and there, going to class, whatever it may be, start building your reel. What I mean by that is either record yourself or go to a professional to record you reading scenes and looking good. I used to go to a guy who would help me record my self-tapes, and he had this whole setup with great cameras and lighting and sound, backdrop, everything. And it looked great. So good that I even put some of those auditions in my reel and would send that to casting directors when they asked for, work or something to show. Now, recording yourself helps people get an idea of how you act and look on camera. It's like the equivalent of painting canvases or recording demos, making clothing samples. You got to give people something to work with. They have to see what you can do. And the best way to do that is to do it yourself. Get comfortable. Maybe have someone read with you so that you're not just talking to the void. That helps. And choose scenes that kind of fit the roles you want to go for, that fit the way you want to play certain characters. Who do you want to play? You want to play a bad boy, you want to play the boy next door, you want to play the girl next door, whatever it is, period piece. Do something that shows a range. Maybe one that's angry, one that's sad, comedy, I don't know. Play a character, put makeup on, dress up, who knows? You can do anything you want, but it just has to show your talent. Okay? So, think of it as building your resume. It goes along with your resume. Get good at auditioning. Now, I know most of the auditions now are self-tapes. They used to be in person, and I'm probably not the best person to be giving advice on self-taping, as I've never really successfully booked a job from one. However, self-tapes have always been a thing, but post-COVID, every audition now is basically a self-tape, which forces you to not only figure out the scene and character your own way, but also direct, light, sound design, and edit the entire thing too. So, as I've mentioned before, I used to pay someone to help me film it in a professional way, but I never booked off of it, so I can't really say for sure if it matters. But the way I do my self-tape is I pre-record the other dialogue and then play it back when I'm reading the scene. So, is there a specific way to nail self-tapes each time? I don't know. My advice would be maybe send in multiple takes for each scene to show a little range, because with self-tapes, unlike auditioning face-to-face, there is no direct feedback. We as actors have no idea what the director, producer, casting director want from us. We just kind of guess. So maybe presenting some options might help them decide, or see a different version that's closer to what they had in mind. And if you're lucky enough to get in-person castings, get comfortable, learn how to talk to the casting, learn how to be the role of the actor, as not just presenting the scene, but be someone that they want to work with, or they could see themselves working with, that is comfortable, takes direction well, is nice to be around. And that kind of adds on to just the actor, because they have to be with you for 3 or 4 months. So beyond doing a good job as an actor, they want to be able to hang out with you and know if they can get along or you can work together. That's another thing, is that it's like, yeah, you can be a good actor, but you might be horrible to work with. So you have to get comfortable in the room and make them comfortable, and show off that you're not just a talented actor, but you can work with what they want. Getting used to rejection. Now, 9 times out of 10, you will face rejection. Trust me, I know all about it because I made a bunch of videos on it. And what I want you to remember is that it's never your fault, okay? It's just part of the industry, part of the business. You can't start going down that rabbit hole of, well, what did I do wrong? What if I had done this instead of that? Because that will only eat you up inside. And really, the truth is that they either found someone who was more successful and said yes, or they wanted someone with blue eyes or brown hair or taller or shorter. I don't know. Things that you can't control. I have done hundreds of auditions, and there have been a ton of jobs that I really, really wanted and really thought I had a chance of getting, but they chose someone else instead. And that is just part of acting, part of being an actor. So you have to keep going and just keep putting yourself out there. It's kind of a numbers game. Staying safe. Now, there are 2 things that I've always said to myself while working in the entertainment space, and that was, if it's too good to be true, it is, and always trust your gut. By now, the whole world knows just how scummy and gross and scammy Hollywood can be, and how every day there are tons of creeps and predators that make their way into the business to take advantage of people. Imagine you come across somebody that says, hey, I want to make you a movie star and millionaire, and you don't have to do anything, you don't have to owe me anything. Doesn't that sound a little suspicious? Because if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And these types of people, they play on your greatest wants and needs and twist it so that they trick you into doing things you would never do otherwise. Stop, think, take your time, and always trust your gut. You know, if you get a bad vibe or feeling from someone or a situation, it's probably right. If your body is screaming, get out of there, get out of there. Trusting your gut is something that has never failed me, and it's something that all actors are taught to do in acting class. Trust your instincts. There have been a couple of occasions where I have gone against my gut feeling, and I regret doing so. Just stay safe out there and listen to yourself, really. No matter what, no one is going to make your career for you. You have to do it yourself. And this is something that I had a hard time coming to terms with until just recently. But no one, not even the people you work with or who represent you, are going to go out of their way to make your career. You are responsible for your own success. And there was a time where I thought that I had, quote unquote, made it, and that from here on out, acting jobs were just going to fly in, and I would never have to audition again, and I'd become a millionaire. But that was the furthest thing from the truth. Actors, even those at the top of their game, are always auditioning and are always looking for their next job. So if you feel like you're struggling or having a hard time breaking through, you are not alone. There are hundreds and thousands probably of other actors that are all going through the same emotions all the time. You have to keep at it, and you have to believe in yourself. Those are 2 of the crucial things that you have to do in order to succeed. Remember that. It's all you, and you can do it. Well, I hope these little nuggets of info and knowledge helped you in some way, but I want you to remember that the truth is that there really isn't one certified way to become an actor, and that some actors don't find success until 5, 10, even 20 years later. And I don't know, I hope you guys get some ideas on how to get started, or maybe you get some inspiration to keep going down this path of chasing your dreams. And I truly believe that you should pursue your dreams and give them a chance, because you never know what might happen. You know, if you stay in one place and never do anything or try anything, then nothing will ever change. So don't be afraid. Just take it one step at a time. Anyways, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Any other questions you have, let me know. And I'll see you guys next time. Adios. Class dismissed.